كنتم لا تعلمون.
Now, who are those who have an excuse to break their fast? Who are those who are exempt from fasting Ramadan? Number one, and let me begin with this one because it's really problematic and I want your attention and your energy before I lose it. The pregnant and the breastfeeding women. الحبلى والمرضع. But listen to this. And هذه المسألة يا إخوة, this particular issue or subject is very problematic. Imagine your wife was pregnant and she delivered and she breastfed for 2 years. And she broke some days from Ramadan for this or for that. I want you to call 3 jurists, 3 muftis, and ask them, what should my wife do? I bet you're going to receive 3 different answers. It's a very problematic subject. And it's really important for few of you, if not all of you, يعني ضبط هذه المسألة. As a student of knowledge, you should know about it. Because not many people know about it. And it's important because a lot of our spouses are pregnant. A lot of them are breastfeeding. So at least you need to know what they should do. طيب. Look at this now. There is no difference of opinion, no conflicts between the jurists or amongst the jurists that a woman who is pregnant or breastfeeding could break her fast, provided that there is a reason. So breaking the fast is not unrestricted. It's restricted to what? To a condition. What is the condition? Fasting would harm her health or the health of the janeen, the baby in her womb, or the infant who's breastfed. We got that? So a woman who's pregnant or breastfeeding but yet she is healthy and the fasting does not affect her health nor the health of her infant or baby, does she have a license to break her fast? No. So it's not unrestricted, it's restricted to that. Now, as long as there is imminent harm on her health or the health of her baby, then she can break her fast, she can utilize the license. Now, how do we know about it? How do you know? Of course, pregnant women, they know that, they have to have nutrition, they have to have food in order to do what? When she is pregnant and she's fasting, she is dizzy. These are signs. Or a doctor informing her that fasting would harm your health or the health of the baby. But hopefully a Muslim doctor. Because American doctors, when you go to them and ask them for a medical license, they consider this what? Customer service. They give it to you. Seriously. Somebody goes and gets a note from the doctor, I can't fast. This is customer service for them. So you should really consult a Muslim doctor who knows that fasting is mandatory and so forth. Or at least you explain, you can do da'wah now, you explain to that non-Muslim doctor that fasting is mandatory upon me, and really وَأَن تَصُومُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ, and if you fast is much better for you, provided that you're able, you're not sick. So I would like to fast, but please let me know, would that affect the health of my infant, my baby? If he tells you yes, some doctors, they tell you you have to eat in order for certain nutritions to be given to the child. Or the woman would see the decrease of the flow of milk, especially sisters who breastfeed. She could tell that when she is fasting, she's not eating, she's not drinking, then the flow of her milk is what? Is down. Consequently, she has a license to break her fast. So, ijma', there is a consensus that women who are breastfeeding or pregnant, they could break their fast provided that they cannot do the fasting on their condition. The evidence, Hadith Anas ibn Malik radiyallahu an fi Sunan Abi Dawud, qala, he said, qala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam called upon Anas one day and he said to him, idnu, come closer to me, uhaddithuka an as-sawm, I'll talk to you about fasting. And then the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said what? Inna Allah وضع عن المسافر شطر الصلاة وعن المسافر والحامل والمرضع الصوم. Allah exempted the traveler from half of the salah, the 4 rak'ahs he prays them what? 2. And the traveler, the pregnant and the breastfeeding, fasting. They don't have to fast. God exempted. But here is the top question. What do they have to do? So let's say the sister, she broke her fast because she was unable to fast. Now, what should they do in order to make up for the breaking of their fast? 5 opinions. Imagine this. 5 views. This is how serious the matter is. Some of them said what? Al-qada'u wal-fidyah. Said some of them that they have to expiate and make up the days. An expiation here means the feeding of 1 miskin for each day. Not the 60 days, huh? Not a kaffara. The other one is called what? Kaffara. This is called what? Ransom. Al-fidya, ransom. Not expiation, ransom. If I mistakenly said the term. So some jurists, they say what? They have to make up the day and they have to feed for each day 1 miskin together. So those are one opinion. Another opinion said no, they have to feed. Another opinion said no, they have to just make up the days. So how many now? 3. Okay. And some said no fidya, no kaffara. They don't have to do anything. There is actually an odd view. Odd view. This is very odd view. Let's just stick to those 4 inshallah for now. The 5th now really is irrelevant. طيب, the first view, they say they have to make up the day and feed for each day 1 miskin. And this is the view of Shafi'i, Ahmad, Malik. But they said something very important. If she broke her fast because of the fear for her child, she has to do this. She has to do the 2. But if she broke her fast because of the fear for her own health, then she is sick. She has to do what? Making up the day. You're getting it? You're getting that? Okay. They said, why did she break her fast? Is it because of her infant, because of her baby, or because of her health? If she did break her fast for the fear, for the health of her infant, then she has to do what? Both making up the days and feed for each day 1 miskin. But if she did break her fast for fear over her own health, then she belongs to the category of what? Sick. Then she does what? one thing only, which is making up the day. You're getting that? Shall I repeat this again, or you got it? طيب. The second view is making up the days only without these restrictions. وبه قال سفيان الثوري. If you call any Hanafi on this issue, he tells you she just needs to make up the days. ما يذكر لك كفارة أبدا، ما يذكر لك فدية أبدا. He will never mention a فدية, ransom أبدا. سفيان الثوري, Abu Hanifa وأصحابه, وأبو ثور وأبو عبيد. Why did they do this? Look at والرأي هذا رأي راجح. This view is really legitimate one. Why? Remember the hadith that I quoted a minute ago, hadith Anas and Abi Dawud. What did the Prophet say? Allah has pardoned who? The traveler, the pregnant, and the breastfeeding from fasting. So they said, what does the traveler has to do? شوف الفقه. They said the fact that the Prophet named the three together, that means what? What they have to do is identical. شوف الفقهاء, look at the jurists, how they come up with these things. The fact that the Prophet put the three in them in that sequence, now let's find out what the traveler has to do. We don't know. ما هو هذا يسموه analogy. Use analogy. What the traveler has to do? He has to make up the day only. The traveler doesn't have to feed for each day one miskin. Likewise the pregnant, likewise the breastfeeding. No. The third or the fourth view in this case here, or the third view, I'm sorry, is feeding only. And they do not have to make up the days. And this is the total contrary of the previous opinion. وَبِهِ قَالَ. Look who said this. Ibn Abbas, وابن عمر, وإسحاق بن راهوي, والشيخ الألباني رجح هذا الرأي. That only the women who break her fast because being pregnant or breastfeeding, they only feed for each day one miskin. Of course, the last opinion that they don't do anything, which is a very weak opinion, اللي هو الظاهرية. Nothing, they said nothing really. Really, the correct view regarding this issue is the following. Wallahu a'lam. There is a weird scenario here. And that scenario is really connected to the ruling regarding birth control in Islam. What is the ruling on birth control in Islam? Can you stop your wife from getting pregnant? You don't know that ruling, right? Yes, you're allowed, but with two conditions. If it is within the 2 years of breastfeeding, you can do that. You can do birth control. وَالْوَالِدَاتُ يُرْضِعْنَ أَوْلَادَهُنَّ حَوْلَيْنِ كَامِلَيْنِ. The mothers, they breastfeed their children 2 years complete. So that's condition number one. What is condition number two? There is imminent danger on the health of the mother if she gets pregnant. Like sisters who end up delivering through what? C-section. They do have what? A certain number of pregnancies. After that, the doctor tells you, sister, lady, khalas, no more. Your stomach is going to cut open if you get pregnant again. Khalas. Then you can do birth control. Other than that, nope. That's the ruling. I'm sorry if you're doing it. It's your business. I'm only a deliverer. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ said, تناسلوا تناكحوا, have children, تكاثروا, multiply, فإني مباهن بكم الأمم يوم القيامة. فالأصل في المسألة هذا. طب now, let's look at this scenario here. I'm connecting this to the subject. There is a sister who's going to go by the book joke, and there are, mashallah, a lot of our sisters this way. So imagine this. Every 3 years, she will have a baby. Meaning, 1 year, let's say, not 9 months. Let's give her 1 year for pregnancy and 2 years for breastfeeding. And then she gets pregnant again. Let's say that she's going to end up with 10 children. So how many Ramadan did she miss? 10 children? Let's say that each child 3 Ramadans, so 30 Ramadan. Let's say 25 because of the 9-month deal. But multiply 25 Ramadan times 29 days. Let's go with 29 days, not 30. How many days are that?
2 years and 1 month.
So how many days? 700 days. And guess what? After 10 babies, she's going to be what? Around 50. So she's going to have to fast make up 700 days? Give me a break. Then we apply what? The ruling of what? Feeding. اللي هو رأي الشيخ الألباني وابن عمر وابن عباس. شوف. But a sister, mashallah, no, I gotta keep up with my figure, you know, I don't want to get pregnant, only 1 child, and I'm gonna get some lady to breastfeed my child or give my child, kill my child by giving him artificial milk because I can't keep up with my figure. And that lady, you tell her, lady, you have to make up the days and you have to fast. You have to ransom and fast. So you could actually alternate. And this is what I do. Immediately when a sister calls me with this question, I ask her this question. Sister, do you use birth control? How many babies you have? You use birth control, yes. So you have to make up the days and feed. But if she's from that type, just go ahead and feed. Because it's impossible. It is impossible. All right? We're done with that?
How about if more kids, sometimes it's hard to have a basically 0 and 8.
ولا تقتلوا أولادكم خشية إملاق نحن نرزقكم وإياهم ولا تقتلوا أولادكم من إملاق نحن نرزقكم وإياهم. فين التوكل يا عم الحج؟ فين الأرزاق على الله؟ والواد بيجي برزقه. فين عبودية التوكل؟ كلام هذا لا. This kind of speech is not the speech of a Muslim. Wallah. Wallahi, more children, they bring more barakah. More. Yeah, it's a lot of work, I know. But they bring a lot of barakah. Yes. Huh?
Can the lady make up the fasting while she is?
Remember, she breaks her fast because what? She's unable. Remember, we started with this. So she can make up the fast while she is breastfeeding if she wants, provided that this does not affect the flow of milk. You're getting that? That's why we started with this foundation. طيب, can we move to the second type here? Are we done with the pregnant and the breastfeeding?
So you mentioned that she can break the fast. What if she's not keeping the fast at all? Or you want her to
خلاص. لا خلاص. If she's able to fast, Brother Am, خلاص, it's over. She can fast. There's no question about it. Yeah. Remember when I started, I said what? Pregnant and breastfeeding sisters, they don't have an open license to break their fast. They must qualify to break their fast by what? Being unable. Or the fasting will affect the health of their children. So consequently, they break their fast. But let's move to the next, inshallah, because the sick and the traveler, we kind of covered them yesterday, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So we still have the elder, al-ajuz wal-ajuza, al-shaykh wal-shaykha, the old man and the old woman. Now, any old person can break their fast? That sometimes you find 9 years old, they are professional in fasting. And sometimes you find 50 years old, ما يقدر يصوم. He's unable to fast. Age, there is no such a say. You can't just say, oh, the people who are above 60, they break their fast. So they must be old and what? Like the pregnant and the breastfeeding. They must be old and what? And sick and able. So as long as they are able, خلاص. Now what should they do? يعني الجمهور, the majority of the jurists, they say they have to feed 1 miskin for each day. Because they fall into the category of the people who are sick with terminal illness. You know, age, can you cure yourself from age? There is no chance for you what? If you get old, it's over. You can, you know, paint that hair a little bit, you know, but age is done. When you age, you're done. It's done deal. Imam Malik, by the way, has a very interesting opinion. He said, لَيْسَ عَلَيْهِمَا إِطْعَامٌ إِلَّا إِنِ اسْتَحَبَّهُ. He said they don't have to feed unless he likes to do that. But of course, this is not supported by evidence. طيب. We spoke yesterday about the sick and the traveler. طب what did we say about the sick? We said not every sickness qualifies you to break your fast. The sickness where fasting would deteriorate your health. طيب. If fasting would cause you to die, it is haram to fast. Absolutely. People especially who are diabetes. But if you're sick and yet fasting doesn't affect your health, you can go ahead and fast. طيب, the final or the last category here of that, of those who are exempt, is the traveler. Now the question, every traveler can break his fast? Yeah, if you want to utilize the license, but only if traveling would cause you difficulty and harm. We basically ended up with 2 hadith. One of them where the Prophet ﷺ tells a companion, Hadith Aisha and the Muslim, Hamza ibn Amr al-Aslami, إن شئت فصم وإن شئت فأفطر. The companion asked Rasulullah, أصوم في السفر, should I fast while I am traveling? The Prophet ﷺ tells him, إن شئت فصم, if you want fast and if you want break fast. And then we have another hadith that says what? لَيْسَ مِنَ الْبِرِّ الصَّوْمُ فِي السَّفَرِ. It is not a sign of righteousness and piety that you fast while you're traveling. When Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam at one stage he was traveling with his companions and he broke his fast. He actually brought a glass of water in front of everybody. He raised it like this, Hadith ibn Abbas, Jabir and al-Bukhari, and he took a drink. Later on he was told that some of his companions carried on with their fasting. He condemned that. He said, أُولَٰئِكَ الْعُصَىٰ. These are the disobedience. These are the disobedience. Now how you sort out this? Is the burden that travel can impact you? If you can travel while you're fasting without any problem, خلاص, go ahead and fast. It's actually recommended to fast. ولذلك عمر ibn Abdul Aziz, when he was asked, which one should I fast while I'm traveling or should I break my fast? You know what he said? أَيْسَرُهُمَا أَفْضَلُهُمَا. The best of them is what is easy on you. يعني, if you travel an easy travel, you know, fasting in Ramadan is easy when everyone else is fasting. But after Ramadan, for you to make up a day, man, I still have to make up this day while everybody around you is eating. وذلك always it comes وَأَن تَصُومُوا, and if you fast what? خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. And if you fast is much better for you. But this is provided that what? Fasting is not going to burden you. You're not going to be walking around the airport here, don't know where your terminal is, or you can carry your bag, or you forget your bag. Huh? Actually, there is an interesting hadith, and I really love this hadith. And I always use it when I talk to brothers and sisters, prepare them for Hajj. I always use this hadith. What hadith? Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, we know that when he was traveling to conquer Mecca, this happened in Ramadan. So he's coming all the way from Medina. So they are traveling on mules and horses and camels, and they are carrying their tents with them. And they travel for a while, then they stop, and then they prepare the tents, they bring water for the animals, then some people cook food. You know how it's like nomad life kind of thing. One day, very hot. Jabir is the narrator, if I'm not mistaken. Very hot day. Dehydration, hot, top of the line. Some of the companions broke their fast. They couldn't do it. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri said what? كنا نسافر مع رسول الله ونحن صوم. We used to travel with the Messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم while we're fasting. Some of us are fasting, some of us are break fasting. ولا يعيب بعضنا على بعض. And the fasting does not come to the one who is not fasting. Oh, look at you, you're not fasting. لا, well, he has a license. He has a license. خلاص. As long as you're a traveler, فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر, انت traveler, you have a license. You could utilize the license, but you decided not to utilize the license. So some of the companions decided to break their fast. So when they stopped to camp that night, those who broke their fast started going around, picking up the tent, putting the tent together, bringing water, feeding the animals, giving water to the animals. They went and cooked. And those who are fasting, they did what? They laid in the ground like this, fasting. You know what the Prophet ﷺ said? And I love this. ذهب اليوم المفطرون بالأجر. Those who broke their fast today got a much better reward than those who are fasting. شوف هذه. Why? Because you benefited the people. عمل الخير. Because fasting is really who benefits? You. But when you break your fast, because you have a license, you're not breaking your fast just for fun, because you have a license, you end up what? Helping others. So you get more rewards. طيب, mashallah. We spoke about the sick, we spoke about the traveler, we cleared those who are exempt from fasting. The last segment in that is right here. Those who broke their fast because of excuses, or without having excuses, what do they have to do? So the last segment of the Fiqh of Sawm is the rulings regarding making up missed days from Ramadan. Let's take the questions first. Yes?
Elderly, it's hard to find masakin these days. They say, I have a grandmother, she wants to feed the masjid, like go just one day, respond to iftar or something.
You see, that's a big mistake. Big mistake. When you ransom and you end up going and feeding people in the masjid. Because not everybody who breaks his fast in the masjid are miskeen. Listen, there is a reward for offering iftar for those who are fasting. What is the reward? You get an equal reward to their fasting. And this would apply to a rich or poor. You can give iftar to the wealthiest person in town. It doesn't matter, you get the reward. But you see, when the Quran spoke about feeding as a ransom, he said ta'amu miskin or masakin. Miskin condition. So when you go and offer iftar in the masjid, or you throw a party in your house, a lot of these are not masakin. So we have to differentiate between helping people to break their fast and simply ransoming for the days which somebody missed in Ramadan. تفضل.
For instance, if you are a traveler from here to overseas, it says like 19 hours. For instance, you travel on Monday, then you arrive at the destination on Wednesday. But if you look at this US time, for instance, you arrive on the next day on Tuesday. So when you make up for the salt, you have to make up 2 days or just 1 day?
So you've flown out of Denver.
Yeah. Go ahead to.
What time?
Like in the morning.
In the morning.
Yeah. Rather 11.
I would recommend for you to fast that day, because in the air you look out there, it's going to be dark. But I really recommend for people who do transatlantic to break their fast, just to come out of the equation. But if you started here in Denver, look at this now. So you ended up breaking fast that day. Now when you fly overseas, let's go say that you're going to Europe, right? You arrive the morning the following day. That's another day. So those are what? 2 days. But be careful here. If you started fasting in America, and you travel, let's say the last 10 nights or 10 days to the Middle East, you actually may end up fasting only 28 days in some cases. So you still have to make up 1 day after Eid. So you observe Eid with the people there and you make up 1 day afterwards. Because the minimum number of days that you must observe is what? 29. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم, the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said, الشهر عندنا, the month with us is what? 1, 10, 2, 20. And then he did like this. What is this? 29. Or 1, 2, 3. 29 or 30. So if you end up, you see, especially people who travel transatlantic, they may end up actually fasting 28 days because there is a mismatch between us observing the first day here and their observation of them observing the first day in overseas. So minimum you must fast is 29 days, but if you happen to go there and there is Eid, you observe Eid with them, but you make up 1 day. You're getting that? That's an extra beside your question, inshallah. Okay? Yeah, we're coming to all of this. Yeah, inshallah. Any other question?
Yes, I have another question.
Yes.
I heard from Hadith, but I don't remember who narrated it. Like there was like a war. Prophet Muhammad was traveling for war, and that's in Ramadan, and he told his companions to break the fast.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's another scenario. Yeah, فإنه أقوى لكم, because it will. Again, if fasting will affect your performance.
And you have to make up after that?
Of course, you have to make up the days. Yes?
My question related to these questions. Since it's kind of hard to find poor people here, can you feed poor people back home?
I would actually recommend this, yes.
Okay.
Feeding masakeen overseas is a lot better than here, because you hardly have, a lot of us are masakeen really, but we just don't say it. I'm a miskin, right? I'm just kidding. All right. Yes?
How about the condition of distance? For example, traveling local and international. For example, from here to next state. Is there any distance limitation, or how it is? What is a breaking fast? In terms of traveling, for example, some people when they flew from here to Minnesota or Las Vegas down to Arizona, some people they travel overseas. Is there any different?
No, travel is travel. But again, from here to Minnesota, this is easy. You can still maintain your fast. So really, traveling is traveling. You see, there is no line in the Sunnah that identifies a distance to be a distance of travel. They say travel is what is known according to the custom to be travel. Okay, let me make that statement to you. Insha'Allah, after I'm done with the lecture, I will be traveling to Parker Road. What do you think about that statement? I will be traveling to Parker Road. That makes sense to you? Come on, Sheikh. You will be going to Parker Road. You see, that's not a distance of travel. But I tell you that I will be traveling, inshallah, to Utah, Salt Lake City. Make sense? So what is known according to the urf to be a travel. But now the burden of that travel is what distinguishes those who break from those who do not break. You got it? طيب. Let's finish up here. Okay.
The night very short and in the summers the day is very long and you don't sleep at all at night. Can you sleep during the day?
Absolutely, you can sleep.
Does it reduce you?
Yeah, the question is, can you sleep? I mean, during the day of Ramadan? Absolutely. You know, but it shouldn't be like the habit, because how people do it, especially back in the Middle East, amongst young men, unfortunately, they end up sleeping the whole day, and guess what, the whole night what they do? They play cards. Now, if you're consuming the night with ibadah, with worship, tahajjud, qiyam, recitation of the Quran, and the night is short in any rate, especially in this year, you can definitely use some hours. There is no harm on this. Now, yes, other questions? Okay, we need to finish here. طيب.